Hey guys, and welcome to the Igloo today. And today we're going to be talking about Google's Stadia and Xcloud for Xbox. Now, this is a different type of topic that I normally don't really talk about, but I think that most people don't understand the concept of this because it is two different medias which are going to be extremely crazy. So what Xcloud is pretty much going to be is like the Xbox Play Anywhere kind of package, except for it's over the cloud. Xcloud is pretty much going to be either VMs of like a bunch of Xboxes, or they're going to be hardware implementations streamed over the internet to you of an Xbox equivalent level of whatever package you want to be getting. So that's going to be one of the big things that you're going to be expecting. Now, your input, currently we don't know how they're going to compete against the Stadia controller Wi-Fi to be directly connected, especially because it's an Xcloud. Personally, for what I'm seeing is that they're having the controller connected to a device, and then that device is then connected to via Stadia, so the latency is actually additive instead of splitting the channel between the TV or whatever input graphical device that you're going to be having, and then also the controller. So there is added delay when it comes to the Xcloud in the overall pipeline for what you can see. As for Stadia, on the other hand, even though still in concept, as well as Xcloud is still in concept, it is using a controller that's directly connected to the Wi-Fi in order for you to have the best signal possible that is sending not only to the TV so that it is connected to that channel, but also to the server as well on Google side, in order for you to connect to the best way possible to have the least amount of latency. Now, again, if you're going to be streaming your games or anything else that's going to be coming out like that in this way, it's going to be very weird when it comes to this kind of concept because you won't have hardware. Now, for Xbox, for the Xcloud, as well as Stadia, one of the biggest things is reaching out to all media platforms. Now, currently, console players are only stuck in console mode, and they have their little environments, whether you play on Xbox, PS4, or Nintendo Switch. Then you have mobile users, which mobile users make up half of the market, and this is why a lot of people have been really striving for this cloud compute gaming, because they want to blur the lines between PC, console, and any kind of cell phone device that has a good enough connection to the internet. So, besides a good enough connection to the internet, because you're going to need, let's say you're doing very quick, fast-paced gaming with very low latency, right? Or you're trying to have low latency. You cannot do 4K 60 with low latency because the bandwidth required. Now, most recently, I've been getting into NDI, which is Network Device Integration, and that is using Ethernet to be able to capture to another device, especially because OBS has been having a plugin. My current experiments, which I'm waiting for my 10 gigabit graphics cards, so not graphics cards, but Ethernet cards, in order for me to connect my two computers together. Right now, concurrently, I'm using a 10 gigabit switch in order to connect both of them together, even though it is out audioed in here so that you guys can't hear it. It does sound really loud, especially when I don't EQ and set the compression out of this microphone. So when I am going through all the processes, doing all my testing, getting everything else done with this kind of setup, I require to have 256 megabytes per second, and that is over normal for what you would be getting for a normal person in America's internet connectivity. So a lot of problems are going to be from the ISPs, or you're going to be having to do some magic on the ends of compression when it comes to going over the audio channels as well as the video channels, because those are the most important, because then you won't be seeing shuddering, you won't be seeing blurring, artifacting, or anything else like that, especially if you have the compression right. again, putting a 4K 60 and having a 10 megabyte pipeline to somebody's account, whether it's Xcloud or it is Stadia's actual platform, is going to be beyond me. I don't have that kind of knowledge about compression when it comes to audio video feeds, but these people do, and they're trying their best to have live gaming services through the cloud. So one of the big things that I would like to personally see is that, let's say, for example, you have Xcloud right now, and you are trying to process things, and you're on a gaming PC. Because Xbox has been wanting to reach the PC platform, why don't you just download the game locally as a client instead of worrying over the cloud? Because you already have, if you meet above the minimum spec for the Xbox, you fall within one category. And then if you fall over the category for the Xbox One X in the second category, you can also download to that specification that you're having the availability to offer. We know that cloud gaming is going to be coming, and the merging and blurring the lines is going to be a thing. So why not download it locally and have the best of both worlds for cloud gaming and local gaming while they're trying to merge the platforms together? I don't get why they wouldn't do it, because again, it would be very much an easy way to do it. And then it would make these launch, because these are going to be launchers no matter what we say or do. You're going to have to download an app if you're on your phone. You're going to have to download a program or a launcher on your computer to start these processes in order for you to kickstart using their launcher. And just like when there's Steam and the Epic Game Store, you're going to be seeing the Xcloud Store or the Stadia Store that you'll be having on your dashboard on top of like Uplay and the EA Store and everything else. And people aren't realizing this now, but it's going to be happening. Whether it's a concept or not for Stadia, we already know that Xcloud is coming on Xbox. So no matter what, we're getting at least one of these two. And this is what boggles my mind, is that when we are going to be having these kind of games coming out on these different platforms, it's going to be shaking up just more than anything else. And personally, for what I would think is that if you're going to be harboring off and having the utilization in many different ways, especially if your devices are hardware compatible, why just say that you're only doing that one thing? I mean, if you're really wanting to shake up the market, do both. Have both on your store. Make sure that you can be able to download games onto your PC as well as anything else. Of course, you can't do it for your phone. I mean, I have the S8 myself, but I know that this is not going to be a thing for most people in this regard, because again, it's going to be very convoluted when it comes to this kind of setup, because they're going to be like, this is my hardware. Oh, okay, that's fine. Well, you can have a virtual machine for this or something in the other regards because of having this setup. So at the end of the day, it's based on, is your machine hardware compatible for the minimum requirements for Stadia, for Xbox? I mean, personally, there's nothing that we've heard from for PlayStation at all besides PlayStation Now, but that's not a cloud version of what we're getting in the platform. All right, it's Xcloud and Stadia, and I think those are going to be the biggest two when it comes to that. Now, I don't know if Steam's going to be jumping into the mixture, because Steam is like the powerhouse when it comes to like all of PC gaming concurrently as of 2018, even though it's being challenged right now by the Epic Game Store. And even though personally a lot of people don't like the Epic Game Store because it has the lack of content and it's very intrusive when it comes to your data, like, it's going to be settled by AAA developers and market shares more than anything else, because they want to see where they're going to make the most amount of money when it comes to their platform, because that's what it's going to come down to, is a platform war. And a lot more people are going to put their hats in the ring, and this is where we're going to see change. Change is going to be happening when there's marketplace instability of either products, pipelines, like platforms, anything else like that, and you have your attention to be fed on another platform. Concurrently, that's what's happening with me. Like a good portion of what my games were just on Steam. But now some of my games that I play are on the Epic Game Store, as well as also the Bethesda launcher. But I don't really consider the Bethesda launcher like as a fighting figure, because their games are pretty shit besides like a few. But again, they still have the launchers, just like the Uplay store still has the launcher, but it sells their games on both Steam as well as they're starting to in the Epic Game Store. So personally, this is what I'm going to be seeing in the future. I don't know if it's going to be happening in 2020 or 2022 or 2024 or something like that, but it's going to be a cloud war in gaming as well. And whoever can have the compatibility of doing the cloud as well as having their own game store where you can download and run the games locally is going to be the game store that's going to succeed no matter what, whether it's Steam, if they actually start doing this properly, Nvidia, if they start doing this properly and not charging an arm and a leg for the Nvidia version, Stadia, if they figure out their concept about cloud, or the Xcloud, where they have a lot of gaming experience, but at the same time, they're really new to this cloud experience compared to Google. So if you guys like this kind of content, please leave a like, leave a comment down below. If you really want to support me, there's Patreon as well. Have a good one, guys.